In Florence. When the light flowed like a secret flowing from the painter's heart, Leonardo sat, listening to silence as the sea listens to the whisper of the moon. She was not merely a woman, but a long question forming upon white canvas, breathing oil, covered with layers of dreams. 2 eyes, not merely eyes, but windows onto something older than time. A smile that was neither joy nor sorrow, but a place between meaning and meaning. Leonardo said to himself, "I will make her impossible to understand." For everything that is understood dies. The painting crossed the seas, left Italy like a daughter leaving her father's house toward a distant fate. It settled in Paris, in a museum that would be called the Louvre. It was small among giants, yet it was not ordinary. Visitors passed, looked, and went on. No one knew that history was sleeping before them on a simple wall. In a narrow room lived an Italian immigrant, carrying in his chest a dense longing like a stone, Vincenzo Peruggia. A glassworker, he passed through the museum many times and saw the painting as a stranger sees the image of a stolen homeland. He said to himself, "Why does it remain here? Is it not Italian?" The idea was not a cry, but a seed, and seeds make no sound when they fall. August 21st. The museum closed. The air was cold, the corridors empty. A man in a white work coat walked, one step, then another. No music, no drama, only a heart beating faster than usual. He approached the wall, reached out his hand, lifted the frame, as if he were pulling the moon from a neglected sky. He placed it under his coat and walked away. Just like that, simply, the Mona Lisa left history to enter legend. The next day, people did not see the painting, they saw its place. And places, when they lose what they hold, become larger. The museum filled with crowds, but not to see art, to see absence. And there, glory was born. Paintings, when stolen, become news, but when lost, they become legends. It was not sold, not burned, not torn apart like spoils. Instead, it climbed narrow stairs to a room where light entered only in exhaustion. A room breathing damp walls, where old shoes slept, a forgotten hat, and a wooden box that would suddenly become a cabinet of history. There, beneath a simple bed, the Mona Lisa slept. No audience, no bulletproof glass, no tourist whispers, only silence. Vincenzo sometimes sat before the box as a monk sits before a mystery he does not fully understand. He opened the lid slowly. A trembling candle slipped inside. The smile appeared, no blame in it, no fear, as if it said, "Am I imprisoned, or are you?" Months passed. Paris roared, newspapers screamed, police searched, names were questioned, artists accused, poets arrested, and the painting, in a silent box. No one searched a poor worker's room, for legends, in the eyes of the police, do not hide in poverty. At night he heard the echo of noise from the street, laughter, footsteps, life passing, while he guarded a smile that never slept. He said to himself, "I am a hero." But heroism, when trapped by walls, becomes doubt. Fear began to grow slowly like mould. What if they searched the room? What if a friend betrayed him? What if the idea he believed in collapsed? The painting remained still. He was the one trembling. A year passed. Dust gathered, wood cracked. Paris began to forget the first shock, but the world did not. The Mona Lisa's fame grew in her absence. She became a legend because she was missing, and Perugia became the jailer of glory he did not know how to sell. On some nights he whispered to her, "I will return you to Italy. They will celebrate me. They will understand my purpose." But the smile did not change. The same one Leonardo painted, neither condemning nor blessing, only watching. 2 years passed. Money was scarce, nerves worn thin. The idea that once seemed great became a heavy burden. How do you return a stolen painting without confessing the theft? How can you be a hero while hiding glory under your bed? In the winter of 1913 he sat long before the box, opened it, looked at her, and whispered, "It is time." The room was no longer enough, nor silence, for legends are not created to hide, and so, after 2 years of shadow, he chose to step into the light. But light is not always merciful. In Paris, absence was not silent. It screamed from the empty wall. The Louvre had turned from a temple of art into a crime scene. The heavy footsteps of the police filled the corridors, and eyes searched corners never searched before. One officer said, "A painting does not disappear on its own." Another said, "Whoever stole a face stole the honour of France." Borders were closed, and the ports counted crates as a mother counts the breaths of her child. The newspapers burned with headlines, "The theft of the century," "The disappearance of the smile," "A national humiliation." People argued in cafes, debated in the streets, as if the painting were a member of the family. Poetry itself entered suspicion. The poet Guillaume Apollinaire was arrested. He was asked, "Do you know anything about the theft?" Ink trembled in his blood. During the investigation, the name of a young artist appeared, one who would later become another legend, Pablo Picasso. What strange times when poetry and painting were accused of kidnapping a painting. But the truth was simpler than conspiracies. There was no international gang, no secret network of dealers, only a man, a coat, and silence. Yet the world did not know. In London, a journalist wrote, "If the painting is not recovered, art itself will remain wounded." In Rome, a critic sighed, "Perhaps she has returned to her homeland." In New York, people lined up to see a printed copy, as if a copy could replace the original. And so the glory of the Mona Lisa was born from investigations, from doubt, from fear, from emptiness. Every country claimed a right to her. Every pen wrote about her. Every eye searched for her smile in the faces of ordinary women. The Louvre became a pilgrimage of absence. Visitors stood before the empty wall like believers before a missing miracle. The painting was no longer a piece of painted wood. It became a global question. How could such a small work shake an entire continent? Meanwhile, the police gathered evidence, fingerprints, interrogations, endless investigations. But the thread was too thin. They never imagined that the legend was sleeping in a narrow room beneath a simple bed. In the shadows, the painting's value kept rising. Each day of absence added another layer of glory. Not armoured glass nor armed guards had elevated it. Mystery had. While capitals traded accusations, artists feared suspicion, and poets cursed doubt. The man who had taken it listened to the noise from his room, trembling a little, smiling a little, not knowing that history had begun writing its final chapter. In a heavy winter, when silence grew tired of guarding, the man decided to open the door to light. The box was no longer refuge, the room no longer homeland. For legends, if hidden too long, begin to suffocate the one who hides them. He wrote a short letter, not a confession, not a full bargain, but a vague promise. "I have a painting that must return to Italy." An art dealer in Florence received it, the city of stone and domes, the city of the Renaissance that had given birth to Leonardo da Vinci. In those streets where history walks slowly, the meeting awaited. Vincenzo entered a modest hotel. The room was narrow, the window overlooking old roofs. He placed the box on the table. His hands did not tremble as they had on the day of the theft, but his heart was heavier now. He opened the lid. Light poured onto the mysterious face. Everyone fell silent. Not only the silence of surprise, but the silence of certainty. It was her. The same layers, the same gaze, the smile belonging to no one. He said, his voice mixed with pride and pleading, "I brought her back to her homeland." But the homeland did not applaud. Instead, they called the police. It was not betrayal that exposed him, but the truth that art is greater than emotion. The police entered the room, sharp looks, official steps. One officer said, "In the name of the law." The dream ended. He did not resist, as if he had always known the road would lead here. In the cell, he sat for a long time. He remembered Monday, the empty corridors, the white coat. Was he a hero? Or merely a man who believed a story he told himself? The painting returned to the light. It was shown in Florence as if the city embraced a daughter returning from a long journey. Crowds gathered. They no longer saw just a painted woman. but a woman who had survived disappearance. Then she returned to Louvre Museum, but she was no longer the same, no longer a painting among paintings. She became a legend on a wall. And so, from the hands of a thief, from behind prison bars, through trials and noise, the legend was born. A small smile shook the world, then returned to its place, as if nothing had ever happened.